Today, I will be showing you guys how you can make your own Minecraft mod without any coding. Let's get right into this. So, here we are in MCreator 20.20.1, which is the latest version of MCreator right now. You can download it at their website, link in the description, and install it just like you would a regular program. And we're ready to jump right into this. So, just press on New Workspace once you have this window open, and it will pop up this box to create a new workspace. Mod display name is the name that we're going to use in the game. So like when you /give yourself an item, it's Minecraft colon and then the item, or it's whatever mod it is and then colon the item. So this is what's going to be there. So we're just going to call this tutorial mod. There we go. And mod ID machine name is what you want to use for identification. So in here, that's what's going to pop up, and you don't see that anywhere in the game. And then the Minecraft version is basically which version you want to use. So in this newest version, you can make mods for 1.14.4, 1.12.2, or you can make a data pack for 1.14. But we're going to make a mod for 1.14, and you can see here what's supported. So you can see everything's supported, but if we go here, functions are not supported. So let's just go here and press on OK and create new workspace. Basically, this is going to pop up this window, and it is going to set up a bunch of things. It's also going to pop up this window, which I just brought over from my other monitor, and it's got a bunch of things of what you can do, and you can donate, and you can learn stuff. But we're just going to close out of that, and I will be back with you guys once this is done. Alrighty guys, there you go. It is finished, and now if we want to actually be able to make our mods, we're just going to want to click on Workspace up here. This basically brings you to the workspace of all the different things that you can do. This console up here just shows you like the Minecraft console and other things that we won't need to be worrying about, and that's where we were before. So we can just click on Workspace to come over here, and now this might look intimidating, but I'm just going to maximize it quickly. But it's not that hard to learn. So on the left here, we have a bunch of different buttons that can be used to add elements. So plus will add a mod element. This will edit the selected mod element. This one will duplicate or copy the selected mod element. That one deletes the selected mod element. This one edits the code of the selected mod element, which you will not really need to do at all because that's coding, and this is all about not coding. So you can lock or unlock the element's code, and when you lock it, basically it means that MCreator won't change the code, so then you can edit it yourself and stuff. And the last one, you can edit the element IDs and registry names of the selected item. Now, these last are a bit complicated, and we won't be using them pretty much at all. But even further to the left here, we have these 5 tabs. Mod Elements shows all the elements in your mod, and all the blocks and items and other stuff. Resources shows you all of the resources that you don't actually see in game except for on a block, so all the texture files and the models of blocks and things, sound files to make noises and stuff, structures like villages and things, except you can make your own, and screenshots of your mod. Under global variables, there's a bunch of things here that we won't need to worry about for right now. Localization, won't need to worry about it, and remote workspace, you can basically use this workspace somewhere else, so you can work on it on like another computer, but we're not going to do that right now. So let's just pop back up to mod elements, and I'm going to show you guys how you can create an item first, because that's probably the most simple. So you're just going to press this plus button, and then select what you want. So we are going to pick item. Then you have to enter the name of the item, which is just for this, and you won't see this anywhere else in the game, so we're just going to call this Ardanium Ingot. And for the way that you want to spell this, you want each word to have a capital letter at the start, but no spaces. So just like I've done here, Ardanium Ingot, create new item, and here we are. Under the item texture, you can basically specify a texture. We're going to do that last. Under the item model, you're just going to want to pick normal, but you can make custom models for these items, but we're not going to be doing that right now. Special information about it, we're not going to be worrying about that either. Has glowing effect that's kind of like the enchanted shimmering effect, so like a nether star, like shimmers, like it's enchanted all the time. So we can enable that or disable that, but I'm just going to leave that disabled. And now we're going to come over to the item texture. So this is basically what it looks like in your hotbar in your hand. So we can just click on this and make our own texture. So you can either import the texture from your computer if you've already made one with something like Photoshop, or you can create it from scratch. That's what we're going to be doing here. Because I feel like MCreator actually has a really good texture editor. You want to pick what you want to fill it with. We're going to pick transparency, so that means it's like a transparent background. Or you can do color, or template, or no layer, so that you can have those. But we're just going to go transparency because that's what we want. And then under the width and the height here, you're going to want to specify what width and height the image is. So the bigger this is, the more high quality your texture is going to be. And if you put like 512 by 512, it's going to be pretty realistic. But 16 by 16 is default Minecraft, so we're just going to hit create right here. And it pops up this big thing which you can like draw in and you can do whatever you want. And this is just how it's going to show up again in your hand and your hotbar. So just imagine like a big hotbar going around here. And this is like one of the slots. But I don't like what I did there, so we're just going to quickly erase all that. And I'm going to teach you how to use this on the left here. There's undo, redo, so we can undo and just redo what we did. This button can resize it, so you can click on it and then pick a new width and height. Under drawing, you have the pencil tool where you can draw things, and whenever you click on something, down here the properties of it pop up, so you can change the opacity. So there, now it's really not opaque. And then you can also change the shape, so we can make like a frame or a circle or a ring or whatever, but we're just going to go back to a square. And how big you want it to be. So if we set it to like 8, you can see now it's a big square, and if we click, it does that whole area. Smooth edge, you don't really want to worry about that for such low quality. And then connect points, don't worry about that either. Under here you can have a shape, and then you kind of just draw the shape and it draws it for you. Under here there's an eraser, and you can change the size as well and just erase it. And then there's a stamp, and you can take a texture like coal and you can just stamp it on there. But I don't like that, so we're just going to undo that. Then there's the flood fill, which just lets you fill a whole area. And then there's the color picker, which you can pick the color. But we're just going to keep the pencil selected, and we can change the color by clicking on here. And we're just going to set it to like red, and you can see now we're painting in red. That's actually hurting my eyes, so I'm just going to undo that. Now what we're actually going to be doing here, since we're going to be making an ingot, is we can hit up here, generate from template, and it'll actually give us a block right here. But we're actually going to change this, and we can make it look exactly like a vanilla ingot. So first, if you want to make the ingot colored and not just like a normal iron ingot, which we do, then you're going to want to set layer 1. You can either scroll through here, or you can hit select texture and just see all the textures here. You're going to want to set it to your ingot. So here we go, we have ingot bright. And then you're also going to want to set layer 2 to the same ingot. And there you go, now you can see we have a blue one. Because you can't actually color layer 1 for some dumb reason, and you can't set it to not be a texture either. So if you put the same one, then it's perfect. And then you're going to want to set your color. So you can just hit these 3 dots and change it to whatever color you want. So Ardanium feels kind of pink to me, so I'm just going to pick this pink, hit OK, and you can see it's like that. To mess with the colors a little bit more, you can hit lock saturation and brightness to change it, and you can see I like this one way better. And you can also rotate it, but rotation, again, with such small textures gets a little weird, so I'm just going to set it back to 0 and leave it like this, because the rest of them, I don't need them, because this is just what I want. But you can also, if you want better color control than just these, you can hit the dots, come over to HSL, and you can just kind of select your own color, however you like it. But I'm just going to pick this one, because that's what I like. And then you're going to want to press create and merge. And then, as you can see, it's popped up like this, and we can hit save this texture. Then it's going to ask what kind of texture it is. So right now this is an item texture, and right now this is an Ardanium ingot texture. So using underscores as spaces, because you don't want any spaces, And you also have to use all lowercase. So Ardanium ingot. And I like to just put texture at the end, even though you don't need to do that because it's under resources and everything and it's totally different. So you don't actually need that, but I'm just going to be going Ardanium ingot texture because that's what I like. And hit OK. And you can see it's named up here. And up here there's all the tabs of the things we're working on. And we can click them to switch through them. But I'm just going to close this one out. And you can see we're back to this. And we're going to click on the item texture. And you can see now we have our Ardanium ingot. So just hit select. And there it is. Go to the next page, and then we can change a bunch of other attributes about our item. The name in GUI is what it's called in your actual game. So like with spaces and capitals and whatever you want. So I like what it's given me here. Under Creative Inventory tab, this is what tab it's going to be under. Later on, we're going to get to making our own custom creative tabs. Although right now I'm going to put it under Materials, because that's what I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's what all of the iron ingots and stuff are under. Max stack size is what it stacks to. We're basing this off of an iron ingot, so an Ardanium ingot should stack to 64 because that's what iron ingots stack to. But if you're making something like a snowball or an ender pearl, you might want it to stack to 16, just like those. Enchantability is how much you can enchant it. 0 because we don't want to be able to enchant it. Max item usage duration, set this to 0. Otherwise, it'll have like a durability bar, and that's kind of dumb because if we're making a tool, there's a separate way to make a tool, and we'll be going over that in later episodes. And again, not a tool for number 1. Damage, 0, because it's not a tool. And then damage count, just 0. So these last 4, you just kind of want to leave them the way that they are, 0, 1, 0, 0. And if you do want it to be enchantable for some reason, you can mess with that, although I wouldn't do that either. Can destroy any block. I don't know why you would even want to check that. Next page, these are a bunch of procedures that we'll be looking at later. So like different things that can happen when you click them and stuff. But then we're just going to hit save, and we have our very first mod element. Now, I'm also going to go over creating an Ardanium block, and then we'll run Minecraft and look at them. So we can just hit plus, then block, and then Ardanium block, create new block, and then we're going to want to select the textures. But this is a little more complicated, as you can see. So block base, this is what you want to base your block on. So if you have it like stairs, you'll be able to like run up it like you can, and fence or wall, basically you can't jump over it. We're just going to base it on a default basic block. Special information, again, don't worry about it. Block model, don't worry about it, except you might want to select single texture, which means that if your block has all of the sides as the same texture, like an iron block, then you only have to select this bottom one, and you see all the other ones we can't click on them. But if you select normal, you can see that they're all there. We're just going to pick single texture. And then cross model, basically it's like grass or flowers, how it's like a cross, which is interesting. And then block rotation, this is like how it's going to rotate. So you can have like log rotation or however you want it to rotate. But right now, it's just not going to rotate. Transparency, we want it solid, but you would pick like translucent if you want like glass. But check this if your block has transparent parts. We're not going to check that because it doesn't. Block dimensions and bounding box, just set this as solid. And then we can change this however we want. Now, if we want to make a slab, we might set this y coordinate to like 0.5 because that means that it's only half the height of a normal block. But I'm just going to pick 1 because we want, again, a full block. And before we go on to the next page, as you can see, we need to select a texture. So, we are going to click it, create a texture from scratch, 16 by 16. And I'm going to go over this part a little quicker because you've done it before. Generate from template. And we can select what we like the most. This is kind of like an iron block, so we're going to do that. And then the color, our recent colors, we can just use the one that we had before. Lock saturation to make it look a little bit better. I don't know which one I want though. I'm going to go with that one. Rotation, 0, and create. Save this texture, block, and then it is an Ardanium block texture. There we go. Close it out, click, and select. Now come over to the next page, and we got a bunch more things than we did with the item. But again, name and GUI, just what you want it to show up as. Material, this is just kind of the material that it's based on, but we're just going to pick iron because it is kind of like iron. But there's a bunch of different ones you can have here. Inventory tab, building blocks, but again, we can make custom tabs later. And we can always edit them, so we can just go back and then change these all to our custom tab later. Now hardness and resistance are a little complicated. Hardness is basically how long it's going to take to mine, and resistance is how resistant it is to explosions. And you can just hit the question marks on both of these and bring them up. But I'm going to provide the link in the description to a hardness guide and a resistance guide. And as you can see here, we have hardness value, all you need to know. And if you scroll down, this is basically all the hardness values from things in the game. So however hard you want it to be. So as you can see, the blocks of all these ores are 5. So we are going to set our hardness to 5 as well. And as you can also see, the resistance value for these blocks are 30. So we're going to make ours 30. There we go. Has gravity. That's whether it falls like gravel and sand, but this shouldn't fall. Tick rate. Don't mess. Block color on the map. This is like if you have a map or a mini map, what it looks like. So we're going to set it probably to pink because it is pink. Can plant to stand on this block. It's like if you can put like flowers and things on it. And the block be beacon base. We're going to want to check this. Is the block flammable? That's just whether it burns. So if you're making like something like wood, then you're probably going to want to check it. But we're not. Does redstone connect to this block? It's like repeaters or something where, you know, if you place down a redstone, it'll actually like turn into the repeater. We're not going to check this because we don't want that. Because it doesn't have really anything to do with redstone. Enchantment power bonus. This is like a bookshelf. So if you're making something like a bookshelf, you might want to give this a number. So like when you place it near an enchanting table, what it'll do. Custom drop. If you leave it empty, it'll just drop itself, but you can select it to drop something else. So you can have it drop like vanilla items, or you can drop like your modded items. So we can make it like drop an Ardanium ingot, but that's not what we want. How many of those it drops, whether it's affected by silk touch, and if it drops yourself, just uncheck it. And creative pick item, it's like when you middle click on the block in creative, what it gives to you. And we're just going to make it do the default. Tool able to destroy it. This is what is able to destroy it. So if it's like a stone, you want a pickaxe. If it's a wood, you want an axe. And if it's dirt or something, you want a shovel. We're just going to go pickaxe. Tool harvest level to break with their drop. This is kind of complicated, but basically 0 is wood tools and gold tools. 1 is stone tools. 2 is iron tools. And 3 is diamond tools. And if you set it to 4, like nothing can mine it and actually have it drop. Unless you make a custom tool with that high of a harvest level. But I'm just going to set it to 1 because that is what iron blocks and stuff are. Light, sound, and hardness. What you want it to sound like on the step. We're going to set it to metal because again that's what we want. Luminance, this is like what light level it emits. And 15 is like glowstone, 14 is like torches. And 15 is the highest you can go. But we don't want it to emit light. Light opacity, this is like how much light can go through it. Is unbreakable, basically bedrock, so no. And can walk through the block. This is like whether you can walk through it pretty much. So like torches, you can kind of walk through it. But no, it's going to be solid. Next page, particles. If you check this, then it can spawn particles around the block. So maybe like the end portal, how it kind of like puts particles off it. But we're not going to do that. Next page, tile entity and inventory. This is like, if you right click on it, what kind of an inventory it's going to have. We're not going to enable this. Next page, more procedures. We'll look at that later. Next page, ore generation. We'll also look at this in a later episode and making an ore for our Ardanium. But right now we don't want that. So save. Now that we have these 2 blocks, I'm going to show you guys how we can launch the game and look at them. So you can just come up to this right here and press this button, or you can click this to the right to run the server and the client if you want to like see how it works on servers. We're just going to run the client here, and I'll be back with you once it's ready. Alrighty, here we are. We are in Minecraft and we've spawned on an island. You're also going to not have your skin because it doesn't log you in as you. It logs you in as dev. So, yeah, you're not going to have your skin. But here I am. And we can open up our inventory, scroll down, bada boom bada bing, this is our Ardanium block. And under miscellaneous, bada boom bada bing, there's our Ardanium ingot. So you can see we can place it down, and it looks pretty darn neat. Our Ardanium ingot doesn't really do anything right now, but it definitely matches up to the block. And we can make it do stuff later, because as you'll be able to see right now, if we grab a crafting table, currently, it's impossible to craft this block. So we will look into that later and be able to actually fix that. But for now, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope it helped you guys out. Leave a like if it did. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.